What is up, Solo Cups? My name is Jon Solo, and this is Messed Up Minute, the too long didn't watch version of Messed Up Origins, where we do real quick deep dives into mythological and folklore history. Today's focus will be the judges of the dead from Greek mythology. You know how you spend your entire life wondering if after you die, all the good and bad deeds you've ever done will be tallied up to determine once and for all whether you're a good person or a total piece of shit who's going to spend eternity rotting in fiery torment? Well, the judges of the dead are the guys doing the tallying. There are 3 of them in total: Rhadamanthus, Aeacus, and Minos, who we've talked about before. Originally, when Kronos was in power, there were 3 other guys, but sometime after the Olympians took over, Hades went to Zeus and basically said, "Yo, these guys don't know what they're doing. They just sent Mr. Rogers to Tartarus and Jeffrey Dahmer to ELYSIUM. Can we get some new hires?" The king of the gods was down to shake things up and selected 3 of his sons as replacements, the guys I just mentioned. A little bit of nepotism going on there, but in defense of Zeus, he was related to just about everybody in ancient Greece, so I can forgive it. The first judge, Aeacus, was Zeus's love child with an Oceanid named Aegina, though there are some accounts where his mother is Europa, making the other 2 judges his brothers. For the majority of his life, Zeus had left Aeacus to his own devices, but when he came of age, he was given a kingdom to rule by the thunder god, turning the ants of the island he lived on into people. Aeacus was known for his respect of others and fairness in judgment, and people from distant lands would come to his kingdom to resolve issues, even the gods themselves. We don't know how exactly Aeacus died, but when he did, he became judge, where he presided over the souls hailing from Europe and was known as the doorkeeper of Hades because he held the keys to the underworld. Then there was Rhadamanthus, who was actually exiled by his brother Minos, our 3rd judge, out of fear of competition for the throne. Rhadamanthus went to Boeotia and established his own kingdom, where he became known for his integrity, fairness, and honesty. As a judge, he presided over the souls from Asia and ruled over ELYSIUM, where the most pure and noble of souls were sent. Last but not least, we have Minos, who, unlike the last 2 judges, was actually known for being a total prick. As you may remember from my video about Icarus, he made some false promises to Poseidon, which led to the water god sending the Cretan bull to terrorize his kingdom. Oh, and he made Minos' wife fall in love with the bull and trick it into having sex with her. I guess you could say they were both really horny. Now, if you're like me and wondering how this deceitful dildong could possibly get such a powerful position after his death, a little known fact is that when he was king, Minos established a fair and just legal system where all citizens were treated the same. Wouldn't it be nice if we had that today? In fact, his new system was so good that he recodified the laws in other kingdoms as well, so when you think about it, he was probably one of the best guys to have on the team. His role was to judge the Greek souls and be the final say when Aeacus or Rhadamanthus couldn't make up their minds. Now let's talk about where the judges send you, because there's 3 options, the worst of which is Tartarus. That's like literal hell. It's said to be as far below the underworld as the earth is from Olympus. Only the worst of the worst get sent there, usually the ones who commit crimes directly against the gods. For example, Ixion, a king who tried to get it in with Zeus's wife, only it was actually a cloud, and that's how centaurs were made. He's strapped to a wheel of fire that never stops spinning. Another good one is Tantalus. He cut up his son Pelops and turned him into stew, which he fed to the gods. His punishment was temptation without satisfaction. He stood in a pool of water and right below a fruit tree, but whenever he reached out to grab some food or drink, it would move just out of reach. Honestly, I don't know which is worse, a punishment where you can't keep anything down or one where you can't get anything down. The middle ground for your post-life sentencing is Acheron, and where most people end up. That place is just boring as hell. There's nothing to do, everyone's just a shade of their former self and really sad about it. It's no good. Actually, there's a fascinating part of the Odyssey where Odysseus uses magic to speak to some of the dead people living in this place, and one of them is the hero Achilles. And you might be surprised to hear this, but Achilles said that despite dying with all that glory and fame, all he does now is walk among the dead, and it's so miserable there that he almost wishes he lived a safe and boring life, because at least then he'd still be alive. Yeah, the fact that the ancient Greeks thought that this was just baseline death where pretty much everybody goes after they die shows you how much they feared death itself. The afterlife did have a penthouse suite though, and that was ELYSIUM, Rhadamanthus' domain. Only the cream of the crop went to ELYSIUM, and if you were one of them, you'd spend the rest of eternity in total bliss with the people you love doing whatever your heart desires. It sounds pretty amazing, doesn't it? Well, if you really want to get in, you better pray you got some of Zeus's DNA in ya, otherwise you're pretty much out of luck. Then again, we did already establish that Zeus is related to pretty much everybody, so maybe there is some hope. Anyway, that is all the time we have for today, but thanks for hanging out for a bit. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed this episode of Messed Up Minute, and if you're up to it, leave a comment describing what your personal Elysium or Tartarus punishment would be like. I'm very curious and a little scared to see what responses I get. I'll see you all next Friday with a full-length episode of Messed Up Origins, which, by the way, will be our 100th episode. How crazy is that shit? Until next time, my name is Jon Solo, and remember, Jon shot first.